Now, seeing this thing in person, it was clear we needed to make it back to the village. She was bigger than the stories made them ever seem, and an old man with a sword and 2 bowmen, or rather bow children, weren't going to be enough to do this safely, let alone at all. If we were to have a chance at this, we would need the metal-born children in their armor. Everyone's head snapped to the sound. I couldn't see it, but somewhere just beyond the tree line, John had snapped a twig under his foot. It wasn't even that loud. But to everyone there, the snapping echoed off the trees around us in the dead silence. The Yeti started standing up to its full height. It didn't quite reach the top of the treetops with its horns, but its black ram-like protrusions wrapped around themselves twice before jutting out in front of its face. It sniffed at the air with its ape-like snout towards where John was surely hiding. It then quickly glanced at the hut and then down at the carcass. It faced back towards John and let out a deep, bellowing shout. I felt my heart racing as I watched the beast open its maw and scream into the night air. Its sharp canines gleamed from the saliva. It ripped the cloth from its chest, throwing the bundle to the ground, and started sprinting towards the tree line. My eyes were drawn to the pile of rags as it hit the ground because I saw a bundle of white fur roll out into the snow. Before I could say or do anything, though, it seemed that Peter had the guts to act first. I don't know if it's guts or stupidity, though. "Hey!" His voice cracked out across the clearing. She stopped dead in her tracks, spinning around and kicking up snow as she did so. I saw that Peter still had his bow drawn and was trembling as he kept it trained on her. She wasn't looking at him, though. She was staring at the moving bundle of rags that was between the two. I shouted into the night air for him to run. I screamed and begged as the creature bounded and leaped to the other side of the clearing. The entire time it was screaming at the top of its lungs, drowning out everything but its willowing cries. I looked at John, but he just sat there with his bow drawn taut. I saw ice crystals forming around his hands. His eyes, previously brown, were an icy blue. I screamed once again for him to run, but I already saw the covering of ice racing up his legs, freezing him into place. John, hearing all the shouting, ran out into the clearing as well, just in time to see the monster rip apart our poor Peter. I stayed long enough to see the beast rip Peter's arm clean off before I had to turn tail and run.